everyone, I'm back today with another unboxing. This package is one that I've been waiting on for quite some time now. I originally ordered this album back in December. However, that package seemed to have gone missing in the mail. I gave it a little bit of time to see if it just showed up late, like some of my other packages did. But sometime in February, I finally did contact the seller and was like, look, it's past the estimated arrival time and it still hasn't shown up. I think it got lost in the mail. They offered to resend the item, and I paid about $5 extra for them to ship it with tracking. But even though I paid for that tracking number, it was a bit of a hassle to actually get the number from them. After I first sent the payment for tracking, they gave me a day that they would ship the album and give me the tracking number. That day came and went without me receiving the number. And I continued to ask them about it 2 or 3 more times, and each time I just got the response of, oh, we'll give you the number later today, or we'll give it to you on such and such a date, and no tracking number. That worried me. It definitely made me feel like I was getting the runaround, that they might just take my money and never give me an album or a refund or anything like that. So finally, after it looked like they weren't going to give me the tracking number, I messaged them and said, you told me you would give me the tracking number on this date. You didn't, and every time I've asked you about it, you've just said you would give it to me at a certain time, and I still have not received it. So if you haven't shipped the album yet, I would just like a refund. Of course, when I sent that message, they claimed they had already shipped the album. I'm not sure when exactly they gave me the tracking number, if that was before this conversation or after, because they never did give it to me through eBay. I had to go under my PayPal back to my original transaction where I purchased the album, and that is where they put the tracking number. So to their credit, they may have put that tracking number there when they first said they would, and I just didn't know to look for it there. Because, if they're sending it through eBay, you would think that they would put it on the eBay transaction page where I bought the album rather than on the PayPal one. When I did finally find the tracking number that they had given me, I looked at the tracking information, and the dates on the tracking information do not match up with the dates that they claim they shipped the album. What I think happened is they did not ship the album when they said they were going to, and it wasn't until I asked for a refund that they were like, oh, we really do have to ship this now. But they still didn't ship it until after the fact. They just told me they had shipped it before, that way I wouldn't try to just get the money. Long story short, even though they said they were going to resend it at the beginning of February, the tracking information doesn't have it being accepted and sold until like the 20-something. And I didn't receive this package until March 1st. But now let's look at the album itself, shall we? The album is well protected in bubble wrap, which is good. And the album we have today is HyunA's special Thanx single, Lip and Hip. Another thing that I find a little bit questionable about the seller, I thought when I purchased it originally that it was a new album. I may have just misread the listing. It may have said like new and unsealed and I just overlooked it. However, at the time I bought it, the album wasn't like completely rare and sold out yet. Now I think it is. Now I think it's very, very hard to find a copy for a reasonable cost. But at the time, it was just starting to go out of print. There were still quite a few eBay sellers selling it for close to retail. So I feel like I wouldn't have bought it if I knew it was used. Maybe I'm wrong. It has been literally 3 months since I bought the album. It's not too terrible because it didn't come with a photo card or anything like that. And this was a limited edition album, so it is pretty rare and expensive now. So in the long run, I'm not super bothered by it, but it just does seem a little shady. And unfortunately, there is a little bit of wear and tear on the corners. I'm not sure how well it's picking up on camera. Because it is unsealed and because it was not advertised as having any damages, it does just make me a little wary. But on the spine, we have the Cube and Lowen pressing information, as well as the words Thanx, Single, Lip and Hip, HyunA. On the back, we have a track list, and it is a very sparse track list. The only songs on the CD are Lip and Hip, the single, and an instrumental version of that track. And because of that, I wasn't originally planning on picking this up. But the more I thought about it, I knew that if I didn't get it and it went out of print because it was a limited edition album, that I would regret having that hole in my HyunA collection. I originally paid $19.99 for this from this eBay seller. I don't remember if there was a shipping cost or if untracked shipping was free, but when the seller resent it and I requested the tracking number, tracked shipping cost an extra $5. On the other side, we just have Lip and Hip, Thanx, Single, HyunA, but slightly different format. And another reason I was hesitant on getting this album originally is because it doesn't have a photo book, it has postcards, and I'm normally not the hugest fan of that style of album, but as I do have all of HyunA's other albums, I knew my collection would feel incomplete if I didn't try to get this one while I still could for a reasonable price. Because the thing of it is, if I got it and decided I didn't really want it, I could always sell it, but it would be a lot harder to get it later without paying an arm and a leg. So to start off, we have a picture of HyunA, which of course makes sense as she is a solo artist now. And these really are postcard style with postcard designs on the back. Got the second picture. Slightly different postcard design. I do have to say, these do feel very, very sturdy. They don't feel flimsy at all, which is nice. Although I personally would prefer if they had pictures on both sides instead of the postcard backs. But that's just me. And it looks like they're just going to have the same 3 designs repeating on the back. She's a very gorgeous girl. Yeah, see, I'm not a big fan of these shots. They feel a teeny bit exploitative to me personally. Yeah, I definitely could have done without the butt shots. Not that there's anything really wrong with them, but they're just not my cup of tea. Are her earrings an actual tube of lipstick, or are they just designed to look like one? I have to say, in person, this album does feel a lot more substantial than I thought it would, based on what I'd seen from promo shots and unboxings. But to me personally, it still feels like a downgrade from the really awesome packaging of Following, her previous solo release. I really like that photo book. Then we have the lyrics for the sole song on the album. And credits. And I believe the album was also supposed to come with a folded calendar poster, but the seller clearly neglected to include that as well. We have the disc itself, the background. See, I like that. I kind of wish that the postcard backs had been, even if they weren't full pictures, had been more stuff like that. But that's just me. It's kind of cute. You move the CD and it's got a mouth design. So overall, I am happy that I picked this album up. I am glad to have it in my collection. It is a little bit nicer in person than I thought it was going to be based on what I saw of it online. So I don't regret getting it. I am glad that I picked it up. However, I do regret getting it from the seller I chose to get it from. In my opinion, it simply was not worth the hassle. I found some of the seller's actions to be very misleading, kind of giving me the runaround on the tracking number, and I don't think they shipped it out when they said they shipped it, as well as not including components on the album that I don't recall the listing mentioning would not be included. Still, I am glad that it finally arrived, and I am glad that I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to add this to my collection. That's it for today's unboxing. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to see more K-pop hauls or unboxings like this one, you can check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.